Good morning everyone, welcome to a new market update, and today we're going to discuss Cardano, as Cardano just finished its hard fork. So there are lots of questions of what to expect next for Cardano, and that's what we're going to discuss here. But before we're going to begin, please subscribe to the channel. You can do that beneath here. That's helping me a lot to grow the audience for this channel. Then what do we see on Cardano here? We do see a price action that is very bullish, and that's usually the case when there is hype, when there's some new stuff coming up. We just saw it yesterday with the hard fork, heavy price running up, hype and momentum, etc. And now the event took place. So what's most likely going to happen? Most likely we're going to see the price coming back to equilibrium, have a less volatile momentum for a while, and just stabilize before we can continue again. So if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been saying that I'm not expecting the price of Cardano to go up. I'm rather expecting the price of Cardano to consolidate and correct, coming back to the mean, everybody back to reality, and from there onwards we can start a new impulse wave. So we're going to discuss Cardano USDT, but we're also going to discuss some other projects, and those have the similar waves in the market. So you should be able to understand how those waves go. So for instance, if we go towards EGLD against USD, we can see that there are those cycles. So we've had this run up on EGLD, which was in the summer of 2020, then a full corrective move, another consolidation period and flips of previous levels before continuation, and a run up. Which means that after such an impulsive wave, and it is during the hyper growth period of EGLD, people get FOMO, or they hype, or there is enthusiasm surrounding the project, which is fine. The hyper growth didn't stop. There is still the hyper growth going on with Elrond, but the price is not acting to it, as right here it's way above the equilibrium and the mean of the market, so it's overvalued, and right here it's undervalued, so it comes back to the mean, which is around this area, and then becomes into an undervalued approach again. That is the area that you want to start buying. So it's just a cycle of waves that are generated through FOMO and through hype. That's why prices are going up relatively fast, etc. EGLD, I'm still looking at this level here. If we get another corrective move, I'm definitely going to buy EGLD. Another area that I've been facing on EGLD, and we've just witnessed two nice buy zones. So those two zones I'm interested in EGLD, but there's also another one that's doing the exact same thing, which is Binance Coin. Binance Coin started to accelerate heavily as well, and then another massive move, and now we are correcting, and those corrections are significant, as this correction is already 46%. Alongside Bitcoin, for sure. But you can see that once there is FOMO and hype surrounding the project, the entries are usually gone. And once the project is getting out of the spotlight, those entries are getting available. So what I want to say here is that Binance Coin is not an entry in this entire run. It's getting overvalued a little, took some higher spots on CoinMarketCap list. Now it's having this corrective move, in which the area between 190 to 200 is the level to watch for entries. This is the critical resistance zone. If we can't break here, I'm assuming we get another corrective move. Then I'm looking at either of these two zones, as then we get into the interesting point again. So the point here on this video so far is that momentum is temporary, and momentum on price is temporary as well. It goes in waves and in cycles. So when we go towards Cardano, we can also see that we just anticipated a very large move on the price of Cardano, which means that it's currently the number 3. Does it belong there? Who knows? But for me, given the recent price action, it looks like we have been overshooting a little. So then I'm going to derive the levels that I'm interested in, especially given that the hard fork took place. I'm not assuming that we want to continue moving, but we get to the arguments of what should be holding in order to sustain that momentum. We've got this green zone here in case we get a further drop down, not likely going to happen. We have got this entire green zone here as support. We also have the 82 cents support level here. The previous high at 95 cents is also something that I'm looking at, and then we get into the critical part. So based on the daily time frames, I've constructed those levels that are important here. Then when we're going to look at the lower time frames, we can see that we've got this level as the critical support zone to hold. This is the previous resistance zone that we have here, flipped for support, which is the current critical level that we have to hold for continuation, right? If this fails to hold, I'm assuming we're going to drop further, but that's what we discussed in a little bit. Then on the upside, what we can see is that we had this big breakout. Now we are failing to hold or break through this entire resistance zone, which means that we are currently making a lower high, right? We can't break through it, which means weakness. As a matter of fact, if we hold green and are rejecting again around $1.30 and we come back down, the more tests this support gets, the weaker it becomes. So once it tests this support for like 3 times, I'm assuming we're going to fail through, and then I'm going to look at this entire region between 88 to 95 cents with a potential drop down towards 81. That is where I'm going to look at for potential entry points, and that is also where ADA is going back into equilibrium or back to reality. So those are the levels that I'm watching for Cardano right now. However, if we do break this 130 zone that I've just constructed and we start cracking this resistance zone as well, I'm going to assume that we might be getting a continuation, less likely, way less likely, and in that case, I'm looking at a potential target zone around $1.70. So those are the levels that I'm going to watch for Cardano right now. It's great that we have got the hard fork. It's great that projects are developing itself, but you should always separate the fundamentals to the investment approach in which you are critical to your investments and always derive the best opportunities for your portfolio. And simply put, I do not assume that Cardano is going to continue rallying from here, but I just gave the arguments that you have to watch if you want to see it sustain or if you want to see it make another rally. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel beneath. Also like the video and have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.